Good morning. I hope you're all well. Hope you've had a good week. It's that time of year, isn't it? Everyone's getting back into training. So we've just got back in this week. And it's been a bit of a shock to the system. So I'm filming this on Thursday. You're going to see it tomorrow. And we've done 2 sessions this week. We did one Wednesday, one Tuesday. And they've both been the test. So we've done the speed test and the VO2 test. And they were predictably horrendous. So you actually see those, the entirety of this week's training, you will see next week. I'm going to kind of show you all the testing we're doing, all the reintroduction to lifting and kind of the structured lifting, and then kind of thoughts as we go through that. So it should be quite good. As well, I just wanted to tell you that I've started a member section of the YouTube channel. So if you are able and you would like to support me in my swimming journey, please feel free to go and become a member. You have a few benefits. So we're going to run videos like this, which you're about to see, where we're going to look at Maxime Grousset's 100 fly from the World Championships. We're going to go 2 of these style of videos a month on the members only channel. So if you like this and like seeing the breakdown of elite swimming, go and have a look at that. We'll also be doing, I'll also be treating it like my entire logbook. So if you're interested in what my training is every day, you can go become a member and you will see the session and some thoughts, and if they're relevant, if it's times, if we need weights on there, anything like that. Basically, I'm treating that as a logbook. So if you would like to go and have a look at that as well, you can become a member. We're also going to be doing live streams with kind of member exclusive Q&As and giveaways and all that kind of thing. So that seems like something you'd like to do for the sake of £4, then please do become a member. I'd be really grateful for anyone who signs up. But anyway, as I said, we are looking at Maxime Grousset's 100 fly from the World Championships. So if we get this up on screen now, so Maxime is here in lane 3. And to start with, we're just going to watch this race. This is really good. I found this on YouTube. I can't remember the guy's name who uploaded it, but it's really useful to be able to see it without the camera angles cutting and changing and all that kind of stuff that we normally would get with like a broadcast as well. The sessions are never the races are never posted live kind of straight away. So this is really useful to see. But Grousset's there at blistering speed in 22.80. So I think that time would have been 6th in the individual 50, which is pretty mad. He's got a really nice long stroke, and there's a few things that stand out technique-wise that we're gonna have a little discussion about, and then as well as kind of looking at the splits and seeing what we notice there. So he comes in 49.62, so really fast, to be fair. So I'm going to get up now, just drag this over. So here is Grousset's. So here is Grousset's, the analysis. So we can see, obviously, this is standard format of all my race analysis sheets. And again, if you would like your races analysed, it's that time of year where everything's starting fresh. So if you want to see what your first meet of the year is compared to your taper meet, or just to see really how you're getting on this year, go to my website, gingerumswimming.com, and you can get your own race analysis there. So I can see here we've got the time, we've got the reaction time, 0.71, which actually is quite slow, really, if you consider like Ben Proud in his 50 freestyle, I think was 0.59, so a big difference there. We've got his splits, 22.8, which is crazy speed, and then 26.8, which is still pretty phenomenal on that back end speed. Of course it's phenomenal, he's the world champion. We have the breakdown here, so I think I suppose our standouts really are this 5.26 to 15, which is very good. So my 100 fly in the nationals was 5.46, so 0.2 faster than me, just off that 15 meters, which actually is not as crazy as maybe we might expect, and probably is capable of faster if he was on a 50 freestyle, 50 fly. Maybe I'll have a look at his 50 fly on the members section. We'll have a look at that and how that compares. But then I think what we see here really is that speed is basically maintained perfectly through the next 20 meters. So there's no slowing down in this 10 meter compared to this 10 meter. And in fact, the 35 is actually faster than that next 10 metres, which is really interesting. And then again, the speed, really, if we were to extrapolate that, speed is very similar through 50. Now his stroke rate starting at 55.0 and then basically holding 53 through the rest, which, as we saw there was no kind of noticeable point of him slowing down. A few things then I think are interesting, and especially if we look back at, and then actually if we look at this back end, this 7.56 off the 15 is not that quick, really, compared to probably, again, what he would be capable of going all out max. But I think because he's able to transition from the underwater into the swimming so well, there's no kind of big burst of speed and then his stroke having to catch it up. Again, 13.01 is not crazy through to 25, but then again, as we saw on the front end, the back end speed is held really consistently throughout, and I suppose that then is what's won in that race, is that he's able to hold the speed through the race. We saw there front end and back end. If we just play this again, we see as he goes through this first 50, if we just skip it through to 25, so obviously is probably in line here with the rest of the field, but as he goes through, he pulls away, and that's really interesting for me to see, because I'm like the opposite. I'm kind of all right through that first 25, and then I was dropping back. So it'd be interesting actually to know what his training is like. But I would imagine he has quite a heavy focus on the speed endurance to be able to maintain the speed through both 50s. Similar here, this is where he kind of starts pulling away again from everybody as he goes through this second 50. So one of the things that I think is really interesting, worth noting, is that on the analysis, we saw that his reaction time is 0.71, but he doesn't kind of get left behind on the block, really. And I think that's then the time, is that time being slow is just because he's got so much mass to move. He's a big guy, he's quite a big, muscly fella, so he's got to get everything moving. But once everything's moving, everything's so direct. See the arms coming over the height of that back leg. And so actually when he touches the water there, he's still ahead of, he's touching similar time to lane 1. And then obviously hitting the water before Ponti and Josh Liendo. So even though the reaction time off the block is not, let's say, as fast as we've seen kind of from those world-class swimmers in the past, they're actually still able to generate the power off the block. Another thing that is kind of has been made quite a big thing of is if we watch the breakout, kind of he misses the kick. He doesn't put in the second kick off the breakout. So if we rewind this a few seconds, it's like kick, and then he's into the full kick rhythm. Now, what I noticed on a few of these is that then actually that means that he breaks out really flat. There's no wasted up and down movement. And so then when he puts in that second kick, his body and his hips are still anchored, even though they're high, the hips are anchored, and he's able to then almost like use his hips as a pivot rather than his hips being part of an undulating movement. So again, if I put this back, kind of flat, and then the kicks come in, but the hip position stays the same. And I wonder if that's because, and we see it, I think Dressel probably was the first person we saw to utilise this, and I wonder if it's because actually if you are carrying that much power that some of these fellas are, that actually using that same undulation that you had in the underwater means that you're going up and down a bit too much into the stroke. Maybe that helping him stay flatter means that it's a lot more direct. We actually see that as well coming off the turn. Again, if we see him here, flat, and then starts putting in the really forceful kick. And so we can see then that, like I said earlier, we've got the pivot from the feet, and that throws the arms up and around, which is a really clean entry there. So again, especially when people start getting tired through that 75 mark, we see a lot of chopping in and dragging water, but he's keeping that length out of the front there. with that nice, really flat stroke. We can actually see it really well. World Aquatics on their Instagram posted, if I can find it, a video from underwater. So this is from the World Aquatics page on Instagram. A nice underwater shot. We see Ponty on the first 50, then we're going to see Grousset on the second 50. And actually, it's really interesting here when we see Ponty on his hand entry, his wrists are kinked out. So he's actually, I normally think about being there and coming over and the fingers being in line with the rest of the arm. But you see here, he's actually got his wrists turned out, and they stay like that. They sweep out, but they stay pointed slightly out on all the way around. And I wonder if being slightly out means that you get the catch on your palm maybe more, maybe you get more surface than if you're like that. I'm not sure, maybe with how the water hits it, you can get hold of it better. But maybe as well then coming out the back means you're already in that position for the little finger to come out and around. So that's really interesting. That's something I'm going to probably have a little play around with over the next few weeks, see how I find it, see if I notice a difference on the catch. So here we have Grousset then, and you'll see it's really nice actually to see from the underwater. We've got the breakout, one kick, and then we're into the full stroke swimming. Again, if I turn that back, you see a lot of head movement there on the underwater, and that's something I would normally kind of coach out of someone. I would say I want that head still. I don't mind upper body movement, but I want the head still. But then presumably he's using that to generate more force than he is developing drag or creating drag. And we know that he's not had a problem decelerating through the race. So actually probably it does end up working out better for him. And he as well, same as Ponty. We can see him on this hand entry. The wrists are pointing, the hands are pointing out. It's a bit harder to see because we're not directly underneath him, but we can see that the wrists are, the hands are angled outwards, and again they stay outwards all the way through. He's got his thumbs out, which is interesting, and they stay out all the way. Then as he breaks out, so again that kind of gives me another reason to think that's probably worth doing if the two best 100 fly swimmers in the world at the minute are swimming like that. And again, we'll just watch the rest of this from the underwater, because again we can see that there's no excess splash on this hand entry. He's not forming loads of bubbles. He's keeping the length really well, and then he puts in like an extra little fly kick at the end, which is pretty interesting. That again, without this underwater angle, we wouldn't necessarily see. So he knows he's going to be long, but he puts in the extra fly kick, and that probably gets him the touch. And actually, he did do the same on the 50. If you look at the underwater camera on that, he beats Ponty, I think, by about 300ths. And I reckon that is because he's long into the finish, but he puts in an extra kick, and that obviously gives him that little bit of propulsion to touch the wall. So I hope you've enjoyed that today. I suppose our big takeaways are that the force generation off the start kind of outweighs that slightly slower reaction time. Similar to how we see actually someone like Gretchen Walsh slow off the blocks, but he's able to then has the quality underwater to still be leading at 15. We've got the interesting part of the kick and how on the breakout and how it's kind of he's not going straight into that fly rhythm, and that probably helps him stay flatter and therefore more direct. Then we've got the hand entry, so the wrists going in wider and using that to help get kind of the pull angle and probably help with that recovery and that clean entry that we saw. I suppose the last thing then is looking at that speed endurance. So he's not crazy fast the first 15 metres of each 50, but he holds the speed on the swim all the way through, and that's how he became world champion. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. If you want your own races analysed, go to jingroomswimming.com. If you want any mentoring or any coaching, so maybe you're in a club and you need a bit of extra help, or you're not in a club and you want some help, go to my website, jingroomswimming.com. We'll have a new look website coming out soon as well, which I'm pretty excited for. Any supplements, you can go to Applied Nutrition. You can use my code JINGROOM to get yourself 20% off. they've just come out with a new whey protein kind of range, which looks pretty exciting. So go and have a look at that. And apart from that, I'll see you next time. Cheers.